Okay, so now let's discuss about the qualifications that are required for the position of the president and the vice president and the governor, as well as we'll first discuss about the removal process of the president and the vice president, and then talk about the election process of the president and the vice president. Okay, so first is the qualifications. Also, see, I mean, one student asked, and I think that may be a confusion. कई बार देखिए आप ना जो अरे क्या कर रहे हो यार हो गया सब so see you need to pay attention to what you have written and what we have discussed है ना अदरवाइज अगर आप सुपरफिशियल ऊपर ऊपर से पढ़ेंगे चीजों को तो फिर ना कंसेप्ट क्लियर होगा और हमेशा जो है कंफ्यूजन बनी रहेगी difference in the provisions of Article 74 Clause 1 and 111 with respect to discretionary powers of the President of India is as broad as daylight. 74 Clause 1 is on the advice given by the Council of Ministers to the President. 111 is with respect to a bill passed by the Parliament presented to the President for the assent of the President. है ना दोनों में जमीन आसमान का फर्क है तो ये मैं जस्ट इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ आई वॉज थिंकिंग अबाउट इट ये कंफ्यूजन मतलब कि सर ये दोनों एक जैसे ही हैं इसमें डिफरेंस क्या है ऐसा डाउट तब आता है जब आप ऊपर ऊपर से चीज पढ़ लेते हैं ना ध्यान से पढ़िएगा जो हम बात कर रहे हैं एक एक शब्द में जो बोल रहा हूं देर इज एन इंपॉर्टेंस अटैच टू इट मैं ऐसे कुछ भी नहीं बकवास बोले जा रहा है ना सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू पे अटेंशन इन लॉ इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इनफैक्ट फॉर दैट मैटर ये जो सारा ह्यूमैनिटीज के सब्जेक्ट है कोई भी सब्जेक्ट है उसमें एक एक वर्ड का इंपॉर्टेंस है ना यू कांट बी जस्ट भाई आपने साइंस भी पढ़ा होगा तो अगर आप NaCl की जगह NaOH कर देंगे तो बिल्कुल अलग हो जाएगा वो ना द एंटायर कंपाउंड इटसेल्फ वुड चेंज सो स्मॉल थिंग्स मैटर है ना अटेंशन टू डिटेल होना बहुत जरूरी है इस एग्जाम में क्योंकि आप जाएंगे किसी और माइंडसेट के साथ एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन कुछ और होगा कुछ और पूछ रहा होगा और आंसर कुछ और देकर आ जाएंगे आप जब अटेंशन टू डिटेल नहीं होता है तो सो हैव अटेंशन टू डिटेल हैव अ वेरी ऑब्जर्वेंट आई फॉर वॉट एवर दैट यू आर राइटिंग फॉर वॉट एवर दैट यू आर रीडिंग ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है यू हैव टू लर्न दिस इन लाइफ इन जनरल एज वेल सो बी वेरी वेरी ऑब्जर्वेंट ऐसी ऊपर से चीजें मत पढ़िएगा नाउ let's discuss about the qualifications. First, we will discuss about qualifications of the president, the vice president, and the governor. ठीक है सो साथ साथ में आप प्रोविजंस भी देख सकते हैं एज वी कीप डिस्कसिंग देम तो जैसे क्वालिफिकेशंस फॉर द प्रेसिडेंट आर मेंशन्ड इन 58 qualifications for the vice president are mentioned in 66 and qualifications for the governor are mentioned in 157. So first let's talk about the age. In all the three cases, the minimum age should be 35 years. Second is on the criteria of citizenship. So in all three, you should be a citizen of India. It does not matter how you have acquired citizenship. Whether you are a natural born citizen or whether you acquired citizenship later, है ना, दोनों तरीके हैं. You can have citizenship by birth and you can have citizenship by acquiring citizenship later as well. अमेरिका में ऐसा होता है that if you want to be the president of America, then you have to be citizen by birth, American citizen by birth. इंडिया में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. इंडिया में there is no distinction as to how you have become a citizen and when you have become a citizen. It's all the same. So citizenship. Then other qualifications. Is there any minimum educational qualification that the president, vice president or the governor should have? So now what are the other qualifications? The other qualifications is that for the president of India should be qualified to be elected as member of parliament from the Lok Sabha. On the surface of it, it seems very easy, but इसका एक deeper meaning है, I will tell you. And for the vice president should be qualified to be elected as, yes, to be elected as member of parliament from the Council of States. In case of the governor, there is no such provision. There is no such parallel provision in case of the governor. अब देखिए इसका जो मतलब है ना, should be qualified to be elected as the member of लोक सभा. अब member of लोक सभा की membership के लिए क्या क्या criteria होता है? One is that for the membership of लोक सभा you should be at least 25 years of age. तो वो तो वैसे ही clear हो जाएगा because you have to be minimum 35 years of age for the position of the president. The second criteria for the membership of the Lok Sabha is that you should be a citizen of India. That also would get cleared because you would be a citizen of India. Third is that you should be qualified under a law of parliament. So अगर पार्लियामेंट ने कोई लॉ के अंदर कुछ प्रोविजंस प्रोवाइड किए हुए हैं, you should possess those qualifications as well. Now, as per the parliament, as per section 4 of ROPA, the qualification that one should possess to become a member of Lok Sabha is that person should be, ये हम फिर से डिस्कस करेंगे, ठीक है, सेक्शन 4 ऑफ ROPA, याद रखिएगा, इसको पूछूंगा मैं फिर से. हाँ ठीक है. सो सेक्शन 4 ऑफ ROPA, देखिए क्या है ना, मेंबरशिप ऑफ लोकसभा के लिए यू शुड बी क्वालिफाइड टू बी अ मेंबर ऑफ लोकसभा एज पर द लॉ ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट ऑल्सो. पार्लियामेंट ने कौन सी लॉ बनाई है? रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल एक्ट 1951. उसका जो सेक्शन 4 है, दैट सेज दैट फॉर बिकमिंग अ मेंबर ऑफ लोकसभा अ पर्सन शुड बी एन इलेक्टर. इलेक्टर समझते हो? वोटर. इन एनी कॉन्स्टिट्युएंसी इन इंडिया. शुड बी एन इलेक्टर इन एनी कॉन्स्टिट्युएंसी इन इंडिया. ठीक है. You may check also what are the qualifications for the membership of the parliament. आप खुद से देख लीजिएगा. Mentioned in 84. A person shall not be qualified to be chosen to fill a seat in the parliament unless he is a citizen of India and makes an oath before some person authorized in that behalf by election commission, or an oath of affirmation according to the form set out in purpose in third schedule. खैर वो तो यहाँ पे अप्लाई नहीं होगा. Second, in case of seat of council of states not less than 30 years of age, and in case of seat in house of people not less than 25 years of age, and should possess any other qualifications as may be prescribed in that behalf by or under any law made by the parliament. So what is the law made by the parliament? ROPA 1951. Section 3 of ROPA क्या कह रहा है? That you should be an elector in any constituency in India. ठीक है, Section 4 of ROPA. Similarly, if we look at the qualification criteria for the membership of the Council of States, it is almost the same है ना. यहां पर क्या है? Here you should be, as per law of the parliament again, at least 25 years of age. Second, should be a citizen of India. ये सब तो 84 में ही लिखा है. Plus, as per law of the parliament, the relevant provision of ROPA is section 3 of ROPA. तो सेक्शन 3 ऑफ आरओपीए कहता है दैट द पर्सन शुड बी एन इलेक्टर इन एनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी. इसके लिए भी सेम है. शुड बी एन इलेक्टर, शुड बी अ वोटर इन एनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी इन इंडिया. इज दैट क्लियर? गवर्नर के केस में तो ऐसा कोई प्रोविजन है ही नहीं. सो देयर इज नो सच प्रोविजन इन केस ऑफ द गवर्नर that he should be qualified to be elected as member of legislative assembly, or he should be qualified to be elected as the member of the legislative council, etc., and all of that. There is no such provision. Is that clear to everyone? Apart from this, the fourth requirement is, with respect to all these three offices, related to whether that person should be holding office of profit or not. And in all the three cases, the provision is should not be holding an office of profit. Should not be holding an office of profit. But एक चीज इसमें ध्यान रखनी है. Position of president, vice president, governor, minister in Union Council of Ministers, and minister in State Council of Ministers shall not be considered as office of profit. मतलब कि अगर आप प्रेसिडेंट हैं तो वापस प्रेसिडेंट का इलेक्शन लड़ सकते हैं. अगर आप वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हैं तो यू मे कंटेस्ट फॉर द इलेक्शंस ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट और फॉर द वाइस प्रेसिडेंट. इफ यू आर अ गवर्नर यू मे कंटेस्ट फॉर द पोजीशन ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट, गवर्नर, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट. If you are a minister in the Union Council of Ministers, you may be qualified to be elected as president, governor, vice president, or be chosen as the governor. And if you are a minister in State Council of Ministers as well, you may be chosen to be the president, vice president, and the State Council of Ministers. So basically, exception here is that you should not be holding an office of profit, okay, under the government of India or government of state or any other authority in India, but these shall not be considered as office of profit. All of these positions will not be considered as office of profit. Of course not, sir. I told you na what is office of profit. Office of profit is a position where you are holding a position in the government, where you are entitled to some remuneration from the government. See, you have to understand the entire concept of office of profit. The entire, भाई आप प्राइवेट कोई भी काम करते हो, उससे क्या सरकार को लेना देना? You should not be holding any such office. आप इसका बेसिक लॉजिक समझिए. Basic logic of the concept of office of profit is to ensure that you should not have a conflict of interest. भाई आप सरकार की नौकरी करते हैं और उसके बाद आप कैसे सरकार को क्वेश्चन कर सकते हैं, है ना? ये है कंसेप्ट ऑफ ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट. सो यू शुड नॉट बी होल्डिंग एनी एम्प्लॉय. देखिए, मैं ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट जो है आई विल डिस्कस इन डिटेल लेटर. ओके, सो ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट वी विल हैव द, क्या हुआ इसमें, कुछ गलत लिख दिया क्या? अच्छा 30, हाँ ठीक है यार, इसको कर लो. मतलब इतना दीज मिस्टेक्स कैन हैपन यार. मेरी भी तीसरी क्लास है दिन की ना, तो आई मीन आई होप दैट यू कट मी सम स्लैक, है ना? सो ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट, व्हाट यू नीड टू कीप इन माइंड इज, अगर हम ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट की बात करें, इट्स बेसिक ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट इज एनी सच प्रॉफिट अंडर द गवर्नमेंट. ब्रॉडली वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट इन डिटेल व्हेन आई विल टेक अप आर्टिकल 102. Office of profit is any office under the government where you are entitled to some monetary benefit from the government. It's as simple as that. ठीक है? Not private office, sir. Not private job. Why? भैया इंडिया जो है ना वो मून लाइटिंग का ही कंट्री है ना? सभी कोई करता है सर, हर कोई कर रहा है यार. एक बात बताओ ना, पॉलिटिशियन सरवाइव कैसे करेगा? उसको सैलरी तो कुछ मिलती नहीं. आप कौन सा आपने माला माल कर रखा है पॉलिटिशियंस को सैलरी देकर? तो आदमी दूसरे तरीकों से ही कमाएगा जिससे कि वो अपना पॉलिटिक्स का काम चला सके, और क्या है. ठीक है? सो दिस इज व्हाट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड आर दी क्वालिफिकेशन रिक्वायरमेंट्स एज फार एज द ऑफिस ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट एंड द गवर्नर आर कंसर्न. Now let's talk about the tenure and the duration of the office of the president and the vice president. So both the president and the vice president shall hold the office. President and vice president shall hold the office for a term of 5 years from the date of entering upon the office. ठीक है? So both the president and the vice president shall hold the office for a term of 5 years from the date of entering upon the office. Now what is the process for removal? Unless, पहले प्रेसिडेंट की बात कर लेते हैं and then we'll talk about the vice president. गवर्नर का थोड़ा सिचुएशन अलग है, that we will discuss separately for the removal of the governor. Unless the president, one, submits his resignation to whom? Whom does the president submit his resignation to? Right? Submit his resignation to the vice president. But when the president submits his resignation to the vice president, he should also communicate about it to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Should also communicate about the same to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. ठीक है. In case of the President, the Vice President, he may submit his resignation to the President, but there is no such requirement that he should communicate about it to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha or the Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha or Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha or whatever. ठीक है. So this is about the one part of removal. Or of course, in case of death, unless the president dies, right? Here also, unless the vice president dies. Third is removal. Unless the president is removed by a resolution of the parliament. Now let's try to understand what is the removal process for the President of India. Okay. So what is the removal process for the President of India? The process has been mentioned in Article 61. The removal of the President in India is formally called as impeachment. The name given to the process of the removal of the President is called as impeachment. See, in some of the news, some of the books, in the newspaper, etc., in some of the sources, you may find that people are using the term impeachment for the Supreme Court and the High Court judges and for everyone else as well. But to be technically correct, Indian Constitution uses the term impeachment only for the President. और सबका केवल रिमूवल होता है. प्रेसिडेंट का जो है उसको कहा जाता है impeachment process. So let's discuss about the impeachment process of the President of India. First and foremost, what are the grounds for the removal of the President of India? Constitution says that the President of India can be removed from the position, impeached from the position for the violation of the Constitution. But the term violation of Constitution has not been defined anywhere in the Constitution or in any law. So it is not defined. You may ask that, sir, has Supreme Court not provided any definition? There is no case which has arisen till now for the removal of the President of India. So why will the Supreme Court unnecessarily wasted time defining this term? There is no case that has come up in the Supreme Court where there is a demand which has been made to define the term violation of the Constitution. But general understanding of the term violation of the Constitution is something which is grossly unconstitutional or against the provisions of the Constitution or unbecoming of the office of the President of India. है ना? So even though it is not defined in the Constitution, you may write down in general terms, it refers to a grossly unconstitutional act, something which is absolutely against the provisions of the Constitution, or such behavior that is unsuitable for the post of the President. ठीक है. grounds for the removal of the President of India. Now, how does the process of removal takes place? The removal proceedings for the President of India can be initiated in either house of the Parliament. The removal proceedings may be initiated in either house of the Parliament. The house that initiates the process is said to be the house preferring the charge of violation of Constitution of India on the President. So, the house initiating the process किसी भी हाउस में बिगिन हो सकती है प्रोसीडिंग्स. द हाउस इनिशिएटिंग द प्रोसेस इज सेड टू बी द हाउस प्रेफरिंग द चार्जेस of violation of Constitution on the President. ठीक है. Now, how can the एंटायर प्रोसेस बी इनिशिएटेड? किसी भी हाउस में इनिशिएट हो सकता है. उस हाउस को क्या कहा जाता है? हाउस प्रेफरिंग दी चार्जेस. फॉर दिस एटलीस्ट 1/4 ऑफ द टोटल मेंबर्स ऑफ दैट हाउस हैव टू गिव इट इन राइटिंग टू द प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर ऑफ देयर हाउस their intention to initiate such a proposal for the removal of the president. So you may write down further, to initiate the process, at least 1/4 of the total members of the house, to initiate the process, at least 1/4 of the total members of the house must give it in writing to the presiding officer, of their intention to move of their intention to introduce such a motion. Of their intention to introduce such a motion. Of their intention to introduce such a motion. ठीक है. So if you read 61, no such charge shall be preferred unless the proposal to prefer such charge is contained in a resolution which has been moved at least 14 days notice in writing, signed by not less than 1/4 of the total number of the members of the house have given their intention to move the resolution. ठीक है. What you need to keep in mind is, you can write down full stop, such a motion cannot be initiated. Such a motion cannot be initiated without giving at least 14 days notice. Such a motion cannot be initiated without giving at least 14 days notice. ठीक है, अब जब ये एक हाउस में इंट्रोड्यूस हो गया मोशन, देन दैट हाउस विच हैज प्रेफर्ड द चार्ज, सो यू मे राइट डाउन द हाउस thereafter comma, the house that has preferred the charge, thereafter the house that has preferred the charge must pass such a resolution, by a majority of at least 2/3, by a majority of at least 2/3 of the total membership of that house. At least 2/3 of the total membership of that house. Please notice, this is 2/3 of total membership of the house. This is not 2/3 of members present and voting. This is the highest kind of majority that is required under the Indian Constitution for any purpose. Removal of the President of India has been made extremely tough by the Indian Constitution makers. जब उस बेचारे के पास कोई पावर्स ही नहीं है तो उसको जबरदस्ती में क्यों रिमूव किया जाएगा, है ना? ऑल्सो सी, द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज द हेड ऑफ द स्टेट. You didn't want to make the process of the removal of the President of India very easy. Otherwise, if the President of India would be just removed easily, then it would reflect very poorly on the Indian state that the head of the state is being removed. So therefore, the process has been made extremely difficult. 2/3 of the total membership of the house is required. तो मतलब ये मिनिमम ये नंबर फिक्स्ड है ना, कि इतना तो चाहिए ही चाहिए, which is basically 2/3 of 500 and right, and similarly 543, and similarly in case of the Rajya Sabha it is 245, 2/3 of 245, right? So this is something which you need to keep in mind. Anyway, so the house preferring the charges will introduce the motion, and it would pass the resolution by 2/3 of the total membership of the house minimum. ठीक है, तो सपोज कीजिएगा the proposal has been introduced in लोकसभा, तो पहले तो लोकसभा में इंट्रोडक्शन के लिए ही एक बैरियर है कि भाई सीरियस होना चाहिए ये प्रोसेस, तो इसलिए एटलीस्ट 1/4 ऑफ टोटल मेंबर्स ऑफ लोकसभा मस्ट गिव इट इन राइटिंग फॉर द इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ दिस इन लोकसभा. फिर लोकसभा क्या करेगी, इसको पास कर देगी. लेट से 2/3 ऑफ टोटल मेंबरशिप से पास कर दिया गया इसको. देन इट विल गो टू द राज्यसभा. नाउ इन राज्यसभा द प्रेसिडेंट shall have the opportunity to represent himself. Principles of natural justice. प्रेसिडेंट के पास अपॉर्चुनिटी होनी चाहिए कि वो अपना पक्ष रख सके. So in the second house will be the investigating house. जो भी सेकेंड हाउस होगा, राज्यसभा या लोकसभा, whichever the first house is preferring the charges, the second house would act as the investigating house. What will it investigate? It will investigate the charges of the violation of the constitution against the President of India. So you may read, such a resolution has been passed by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the total membership of the house. And then if you read clause 3, when a charge has been so preferred by either house of the parliament, the other house should investigate the charge or cause the charge to be investigated. या तो वो खुद से कर लें या कोई एक कमेटी बनाकर सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजेस की और something like that, they may cause the charge to be investigated. And the president shall have the right to appear and to be represented at such investigation. So he can appear himself and he may get his lawyer or some legal representative as well to represent himself in the second house, which is the investigating house. If after the investigation of the second house is over, they sustain the charges, they believe that yes, president is guilty as charged for the violation of constitution, then they also need to pass the resolution by 2/3 of the total majority of their house. And the moment this resolution is passed by the second house, the president of India shall stand removed. But this process deliberately has been kept so difficult, so that the president of India, if at all removal has to happen, it should happen in such a manner that the representatives of the people in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha both are completely convinced that he needs to be removed. That is why such a high barrier has been placed for the removal of the president of India. So you please write down further. ठीक है, यहां तक लिख लिया. Resolution must be passed by 2/3 of the total membership of the house. Then next line, at this stage, the resolution moves to the second house. At this stage, the resolution moves to the second house, which investigates these charges. The resolution moves to the second house, which investigates these charges. Which investigates these charges. Full stop. At this stage, the president may, at this stage, the president may appear in front of the house, and present his side, full stop. If as a result of the investigation, the second house passes a resolution, by a majority of at least two-thirds of the total membership of the house, the president shall stand impeached. On the passing of such a resolution. The president shall stand impeached on the passing of such a resolution. ठीक है, दिस इज द इंपीचमेंट प्रोसेस फॉर द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया. किसी को कोई डाउट है? नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट रिमूवल ऑफ द वाइस प्रेसिडेंट. प्रोसेस इज मेंशन्ड इन आर्टिकल 67 क्लॉज बी. एंड सी, जैसे जैसे आप ये प्रोसेस पढ़ रहे हैं, डू एंश्योर इन योर माइंड दैट यू कीप कंपेयरिंग द प्रोसेस, है ना. हाउ द प्रोसेस फॉर द removal of the president is different and how the process for the removal of the vice president is different. So let's discuss about the process for the removal of the vice president now. यहां पे थोड़ा प्रोसेस सिंपलर है. रिमूवल ऑफ द वाइस प्रेसिडेंट. So removal of the vice president is governed as per the provisions of 67B. The process for the removal of the vice president has to be initiated only in Rajya Sabha. First and foremost, when you read 67B, are there any grounds mentioned for the removal of the vice president? No grounds. So there are no grounds for the removal of the vice president. Constitution does not explicitly provide what are the grounds for the removal of the vice president, unlike that of the president of India. ये बात याद रखने की है. Second is that what is the process, है ना? So the process for the removal of the vice president can be initiated only in Rajya Sabha. By giving at least 14 days notice. यहां पर ये कोई रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है कि मिनिमम इतने नंबर ऑफ राज्यसभा के मेंबर ऐसा इंटेंशन दें या कुछ करें. नथिंग लाइक दैट इज मेंशन. यू कैन क्लियरली सी दैट, राइट? सो द प्रोसेस फॉर द रिमूवल ऑफ द, अंदर आ जाओ. यार कैन यू प्लीज टेल समवन टू स्टैंड देयर. मतलब दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली रिडिकुलस ना. दे जस्ट कम एज इफ यहां पे कोई तमाशा चल रहा है. आगे पानी पी रहे हैं, देख रहे हैं. बड़ा ही मतलब दूसरों के उसमें झांकने का बड़ा शौक है. प्लीज टेल समवन टू स्टैंड आउटसाइड यार. क्रेजी यार. So can be initiated only in the Rajya Sabha by giving at least 14 days notice. Right? Now there is no ground which is provided. Rajya Sabha must pass this resolution with a majority of the then membership of the House. What does that mean? Effective majority. So Rajya Sabha must pass a resolution by an effective majority. Rajya Sabha must pass the resolution by an effective majority of the House. Once this resolution has been passed by the Rajya Sabha, it shall be sent to the Lok Sabha. And the Lok Sabha, if you see something, it says that a vice president may be removed. देखिए वाइस प्रेसिडेंट की पोजीशन की कितनी इंपॉर्टेंस है, इसी से पता चल जाता है कि बेचारे के रिमूवल के लिए भी उन्होंने एक पैराग्राफ से ज्यादा खर्च नहीं किया. है ना? रिमूवल ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट तो कम से कम इन्होंने प्रोसेस बताया है पूरा, है ना? कुछ भी नहीं डाला, बस वहीं पे एक पैरा बोला जल्दी करो यार, काम खत्म करो. हाँ, किसको चिंता है वाइस प्रेसिडेंट को रिमूव करने की या अपॉइंट करने की? सो इट सेज दैट अ वाइस प्रेसिडेंट मे बी रिमूव्ड बाय हिज फ्रॉम हिज ऑफिस by a resolution of the Council of States passed by a majority of all the then members of the council, agreed to by the House of the People. Now, agreed to by the House of the People, what does that mean? The resolution has to be passed in Lok Sabha by a simple majority. Do remember one thing, that unless the Constitution specifically mentions, कोई भी resolution का मतलब होगा resolution passed by a simple majority. So, Rajya Sabha must pass a resolution by an effective majority of the House, and the Lok Sabha shall pass the same with a simple majority. अब बात यह आती है कि बेचारा वाइस प्रेसिडेंट कब अपने आप को डिफेंड करेगा, राइट? Principles of natural justice must apply. So in case of the removal of the vice president of India, यार कैन यू प्लीज टेल समवन, इट्स वेरी डिस्ट्रैक्टिंग टू स्टैंड देयर एंड टेल देम नॉट टू किसी को बोल दीजिए स्टाफ से. यार यहीं पे खड़े हो जाओ तुम जब तक ये यहां पे हैं. हाँ. अच्छी क्वालिटी का जहर बताया तुम्हें. एक्चुअली आइडियली ना ये झांकने झुकाने का हिसाब ही नहीं होना चाहिए. ये ऐसे वहां पे अब वो डिजाइन गलत है. वो वाटर कूलर भी वहां पर है, लोग ऐसे खड़े हुए हैं देख रहे हैं हाँ क्या चल रहा है. तो now Lok Sabha should pass the same with a simple majority. Now see, the thing is that when the resolution is being considered by the Rajya Sabha, at this stage the vice president may present his side. Actually, the provisions of the constitution are that when the proceedings are taking place in the Rajya Sabha, the vice president can participate in the discussion. No, the vice president can participate in the discussion and represent himself, so that principles of natural justice are followed. Okay? But what you need to keep in mind here is that the vice president cannot vote in this process. He is not a member of the Rajya Sabha, right? So he cannot vote. This is the process for the removal of the vice president of India. No grounds provided. Simple provision. Resolution to be passed by the Rajya Sabha by giving at least 14 days notice. During the consideration of the resolution in the Rajya Sabha, the vice president may take part in the proceedings of the House. And then once it is passed by an effective majority is the majority of then membership of the House. It will then go to the Lok Sabha, and then Lok Sabha should approve the same with a simple majority. This is the process for the removal of the Vice President of India. Is that clear to everyone? Right. Now let's talk about the process for kitna time hai. So let's talk about the process for the election of the Vice President. है ना? वो बात कर लेते हैं पहले. I'll introduce you to the idea of the election of the president, but the detailed process we will discuss tomorrow. So let's discuss about the election of the vice president. So the process for the election of the vice president has been mentioned in Article 66. Article 66 says that the electoral college, that is the body which will elect the vice president of India, shall consist of the following. So let's understand who all is included in the electoral college of the vice president of India. It shall consist of the members of Lok Sabha, and it should consist of the members of Rajya Sabha. There is no involvement of the members of the legislative assembly of the state. अगर मैं इसको कंपेयर करूं, साथ ही साथ देखिए थोड़ा सा कंपेयर भी कर लेते हैं ना, तो you will be able to retain it longer in your head. That is, अगर हम इलेक्शन ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट की बात करें, इलेक्शन ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट, द इलेक्टोरल कॉलेज ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट इलेक्शन, कौन कौन होता है इसमें? इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स ऑफ लोकसभा एंड राज्यसभा, इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स, नॉट नॉमिनेटेड मेंबर्स. देखिए, वी हैव क्रिएटेड अ रिपब्लिकन सिस्टम in which the president of India is supposed to be an elected person. Therefore, it would make sense that the president should himself be elected by elected individuals. अब आप बोलोगे कि सर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट के केस में क्यों नहीं है? वही बात है कि भाई उन्होंने बोला बहुत टाइम लगा दिया हमने प्रेसिडेंट के इलेक्शन के ऊपर लिखने में, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट के लिए जल्दी जल्दी करो, जल्दी हाथ चलाओ. ठीक है, दैट्स व्हाई सी वाइस प्रेसिडेंट की पोजीशन को बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं दी गई है, वो क्लियरली दिख रहा है. दैट इज व्हाई द प्रोसेस फॉर द इलेक्शन, प्रोसेस फॉर रिमूवल एक्सेट्रा, एवरीथिंग हैज बीन मेड वेरी सिंपल. In case of the election of the President of India, one, it consists of the elected members of the Parliament. Please remember this, elected members है ना, no nominated members participate. यहां पर nominated and elected members both are participating. Just simply to make the process simple for Vice President. President के ऊपर ज्यादा पूरी मेहनत लगाई गई है, Vice President is just made as simple as possible. Plus, in the election of the President of India, even the members of, the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states, elected members of legislative assemblies of states and UT of Delhi and Pondicherry. People often ask me, sir, what about Jammu and Kashmir? I don't know. I don't know. Simply because देखो अभी तो लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली बनी नहीं. देखिए, जब तक वहां पर it was a full-fledged state before 2019, then of course elected members of the legislative assembly of J&K also used to participate. But abhi, since provisions have not been changed, some things need to change. अभी तो डिलिमिटेशन की एक्सरसाइज हुई है, वहां पर कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसीज डिसाइड हुई हैं, इलेक्शन होंगे, पता नहीं कब होंगे, and then after that they will get elected and all of that, so we really don't know. But the electoral college of the President of India includes this. Now see one thing here. One, it does not include the nominated members. Second, the election of the President of India does not include the members of the legislative councils as well. I hope you can understand why, because not all the states have legislative council. So it would give undue advantage to some of the legislative councils. So the electoral college of the vice president includes this. The electoral college of the vice president includes this. Is this clear? Right? अब आप इसको removal से compare कीजिएगा. In case of removal of the President of India and the Vice President of India, both the members of the Parliament are participating, है ना? But in case of the election of the President of India, the members of the Legislative Assembly are also participating. So the question is that why did we not include the members of the Legislative Assembly in the removal of the President of India, when we have included them in the election of the President of India? That is the question that should naturally come into our minds. See, now the reason for that is very simple. In case of the President of India, he is not just the President of the Union, he is the President of the Union and the states. So therefore it is important that the states should also have a role as far as the election of the President of India is concerned, right? But in removal process, we already know that it's going to be very difficult for the removal of the President of India. So why waste money and resources on unnecessarily adding a step for the removal of the President of India? इलेक्शन के समय तो देखिए इंपॉर्टेंट है कि वो एक फेडरल पॉलिटी को रिप्रेजेंट करता है, तो दोनों का रोल होना चाहिए. रिमूवल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेकर्स को वैसे भी पता था कि प्रेसिडेंट का कभी नहीं होगा, क्योंकि वो एक नॉमिनल हेड है. बहुत ही एक्सेप्शनल, रेयरेस्ट और रेयर का भी बिल्कुल रेयर सर्कमस्टेंस होगा तभी प्रेसिडेंट रिमूव होगा. देखिए, आज तक भी कभी भी इन 72 ईयर्स नेवर हैज अ प्रोसेस बीन इनिशिएटेड, कोई बात भी नहीं हुई आज तक कि प्रेसिडेंट को रिमूव कर दिया जाए. और मेरे को नहीं लगता कि आगे के 720 साल भी ऐसी बात होगी, है ना, बिकॉज ही इज एनीवे अ नॉमिनल हेड. सो व्हाई टू अननेसेसरली tinker with that? Therefore, in the removal proceedings, the members of the Legislative Assembly have not been included so as to not complicate the process unnecessarily. But in the election process, both the states and the union have been given a role. As far as the vice president is concerned, here anyway, the vice president is supposed to play a minimal role. So why unnecessarily involve the elected members of the Legislative Assembly and waste the resources of the country on this entire humongous exercise? So therefore, only the members of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha participate, right? And in the removal as well, the members of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha participate, but Rajya Sabha has a bigger role to play in the removal of the vice president because he is also the chairperson of the Council of the States. Do remember one thing, in Indian Constitution, there is no separate procedure that has been provided for the removal of the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. ठीक है, इंडिया के अंदर कंसेप्ट सिंपल ये है कि जो वाइस प्रेसिडेंट होगा वही चेयरपर्सन होगा राज्यसभा का, और जैसे ही आप वाइस प्रेसिडेंट की पोजीशन से उनको हटाएंगे, ऑटोमेटिकली ही स्टैंड्स रिमूव फ्रॉम द पोजीशन ऑफ द चेयरपर्सन ऑफ राज्यसभा एज वेल. दैट इज व्हाई there is no process provided in the Indian Constitution for the removal of the vice president, for the removal of the chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Ex officio capacity में कहते हैं उसको. Ex officio means unofficial, right? When you are not a member of some body, but when you get appointed to that body, you are appointed in ex officio capacity. बहुत सारे ऐसे आपके अपॉइंटमेंट्स होंगे. When you people will become DM, SDM, you will be appointed as ex officio chairpersons of many bodies in your district. You will not be member of them. You will not be elected to them, but you will still be the chairperson of that body. Why? Because you are the DC, you are the DM. तो as an honorary position वो आपको ex officio capacity में दे दिया जाता है, ठीक है? But आपके पास powers बहुत ज्यादा नहीं होती हैं ex officio capacity में. Do remember that. So here as well, the Vice President of India has been given the role in the ex officio capacity. So this is the electoral college for the president and this is the electoral college for the vice president. ठीक है, ये just electoral college से मैं introduce कर रहा हूं. Now let's discuss one more thing. That is that how the elections of the president of India takes place. The Constitution of India says that the election of president of India should take place. Election should take place by a system of proportional representation with a single transferable vote. By a system of proportional representation with a single transferable vote. अब ये समझ लीजिए कि ये proportional representation का system क्या होता है. Let me first tell you one more thing. That this process which has been followed in the case of the election of the President of India, which is mentioned here as proportional representation with a single transferable vote, both these terms, it's a misnomer. Misnomer समझते हैं? हमने आर्टिकल 29 में भी देखा था कि ऊपर लिखा कुछ होता है पर उसका मतलब कुछ और होता है. Here also, even though the system prescribed is proportional representation with a single transferable vote, but the system actually is not proportional representation with a single transferable vote. It is something else. So first let's understand what is proportional representation system and what is first past the post system. Now, so this I will introduce to you today and then we'll continue with the discussion tomorrow, है ना? So what is first past the post system and the proportional ये conceptual clarity ले आइएगा एक बस अभी. So what is first past the post and proportional representation system? अब first past the post system समझते हैं. Suppose कीजिए in first past the post system there are 3 candidates who are contesting an election, है ना? And there are 100 voters. There are 100 votes. A gets, and let's say there are 4, okay? A gets 30 votes, B gets 35 votes, C gets 20 votes. कितना हो गया? 50 and 85, and D gets 15 votes. In first past the post system, the person who gets the maximum number of votes is declared as the winner, irrespective of whether he has been able to get 50% of the total votes polled or not. It does not matter whether you get the majority of the votes polled or not. What really matters is whether you have got the maximum number of votes or not. So in the first past the post system, who will be declared the election winner? B. So B will be the winner in first past the post system. First past the post system is a system in which the candidate on the end of the counting, whoever has the maximum number of votes wins the election. इसको कहते हैं winner takes it all election, right? And that person gets to represent the constituency. इंडिया के अंदर हम लोकसभा और जो लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली के इलेक्शन होते हैं वो फर्स्ट पास द पोस्ट ही होते हैं, जिसको भी मैक्सिमम वोट मिले. अब इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि बी के पास एक्चुअली में देखा जाए तो कितने वोट्स हैं, 35% वोट्स ऑफ द टोटल वोट्स पोल्ड, बट स्टिल ही विल बी डिक्लेयर्ड एज द विनर. अगर इसका ऑपोजिट देखा जाए तो इन अ वे बी हैज बीन रिजेक्टेड बाय द इलेक्टोरेट. इफ यू लुक एट इट, 65 people have voted against B. 65 people, 65 votes were against B. But इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. What matters is maximum vote किसके मिले हैं. This is first past the post system. First past the post system की एडवांटेज ये है कि ये बहुत सिंपल है अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए. इसमें कुछ ज्यादा डिफिकल्टी नहीं होती. इट्स नॉट अ वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स सिस्टम. इट्स वेरी वेरी सिंपल टू अंडरस्टैंड फॉर एनी इंडिविजुअल, है ना. बट और भी एक दो इसके एडवांटेजेस हैं कि इससे थोड़ी स्टेबल गवर्नमेंट्स बनती हैं. बट फर्स्ट पास द पोस्ट सिस्टम की एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. फर्स्ट इज दैट 65 people एक्चुअली रिजेक्टेड बी, स्टिल ही इज गेटिंग इलेक्टेड. द सेकेंड प्रॉब्लम विथ फर्स्ट पास द पोस्ट सिस्टम इज दैट वोट्स विच वर गिवन टू ए, वोट्स विच वर गिवन टू सी, वोट्स विच वर गिवन टू डी डू नॉट काउंट. मतलब कि माइनॉरिटी ओपिनियन इज गोइंग टू रूल ओवर द ओपिनियन ऑफ द majority. In India, if you look at the vote share is जितने भी टोटल वोट्स पोल हुए हैं लोकसभा के इलेक्शंस में, उसमें से कितने परसेंटेज ऑफ वोट मिला है किस पार्टी को. You will see that even though BJP is having so many seats in the Lok Sabha, their vote share in the last election was round about 30% only. That means, actually, if you look at it, 70% of the people in this country did not vote for BJP to come into power. Yet they are in power. Why? Because first past the post system. 70% of the electorate actually rejected the BJP. In a way, 70% का opinion कोई matter ही नहीं करता. What matters is the opinion of that 32%. And let me tell you, this is not just about this government. India में since independence, not even a single government after 1970s has been able to secure anywhere close to 50%. मतलब 50% close क्या 40% तक ही पहुंची है गवर्नमेंट जो पहुंची है in terms of vote share, which means that every time whenever the government is elected, actually people are rejecting that government, but because of the way the system functions, first past the post system, they are still getting elected. This is the problem. So in first past the post system, the problem is the votes of the minority get wasted. In first past the post system, the problem is that even if you are not getting 50% of the total votes polled, you are still getting elected, right? Now the other system which is there is proportional representation system. A proportional representation system थोड़ा सा complex system होता है. What happens here is, imagine the entire state of UP as one constituency. See, in first past the post system, there is only one seat per one constituency. So entire country has been divided into constituencies. UP has been divided into 80 Lok Sabha constituencies. Every constituency will return one member in this same election manner, right? So in first past the post system, every constituency returns one member to the house. अब प्रोपोर्शनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन का फंडा समझिएगा. प्रोपोर्शनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन में अगेन लेट अस से ए बी सी डी. यहां पर क्या होगा, सपोज कीजिए यूपी के लिए चुनाव हो रहे हैं. द एंटायर यूपी विल बी ट्रीटेड एज वन कॉन्स्टिट्युएंसी. The entire state of Uttar Pradesh will be treated as one constituency in case of first past the post system. But how many seats are there in UP? 80 seats are there. एक constituency की multiple seats हैं. अब proportional representation system में क्या होगा? Let us say A got 40 votes, B got 20 votes, C got let's say 10 votes, है ना, कितना हो गया ये 60 70, and let's say D got 30 votes. Each one of them will get seats in UP according to the votes that they have polled. So basically A will get 40 by 100, B will get 20 by 100, C will get 10 by 100, and D will get 10 by 100, which basically means that A will get 40% of the 80%, which will be 80 seats, which will be 32 seats. This will get 16 seats. This will get 8 seats. This will get 24 seats. In proportion to whatever number of votes that they have polled. मतलब कि इस केस में सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि A को सारी सीटें मिल जाएंगी. This is not winner takes it all. This is not winner takes it all. कि जितनी सीटें हैं उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी की सारी विनर ले गया. नो, दिस इज अ प्रोपोर्शनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन सिस्टम. हियर the number of votes that you have polled, in proportion to that you will get the seats in the constituency. So here A will get 32, B will get 16, this will get 8, this will get 24, in proportion to the number of votes that you have been able to poll. इसकी एडवांटेज क्या है? That everyone's votes is going to count. जिसने D के लिए वोट किया वो भी काउंट करेगा. One who voted for C, that will also count. One who voted for B, that will also count. दिस इज प्रोपोर्शनल. अब प्रोपोर्शनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन सिस्टम जो है उसकी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं बहुत सारी. इसकी एडवांटेज ये है कि ऑफ कोर्स इट कम्स विद द फैक्ट दैट इफ यू हैव votes are not getting wasted. In proportional representation system the other advantage is that you can form the government. अब अगर सपोज करो यूपी में किसी को गवर्नमेंट बनानी हो तो आपको तभी गवर्नमेंट बना पाएंगे जब आपके पास 50% से ज्यादा वोट होंगे. You will not be able to form the government. So that means only if the electorate majority of it approves you, then you will be able to form the government. Otherwise it is not possible. The problem with the proportional representation system is that India जैसी country में everyone will form their parties on the caste lines. छोटे छोटे कास्ट के ऊपर पार्टीज बन जाएंगी. लोग बोलेंगे कि यार क्या फर्क पड़ता है कि मेरे को किसी और के वोट मिले ना मिले, तुम अपनी कास्ट वाले जो हैं इफ दे वोट फॉर मी I will be at least able to get a small 1% वोट भी मिला तो 1% सीट तो मिलेगी. 5% वोट भी मिला तो एटलीस्ट आई विल बी एबल टू गेट 5% सीट. सो इट लीड्स टू अ वेरी फ्रेगमेंटेड पॉलिटी. अभी ऑलरेडी इंडिया में देयर आर टू मेनी पार्टीज विच आर देयर. मोर पार्टीज विल कम अप एंड देयर विल बी मोर chaos in the parliament if we went for a proportional representation system. Anyway, the point is this is proportional representation system. This is first past the post. Now see one thing. In proportional representation system, do you have a single member constituency? No. In first past the post system, the system is a single member constituency. Yes, the way we follow in case of the Lok Sabha and the legislative assembly elections in India. In proportional representation system, you do not follow the principle of single constituency. You follow the principle of मल्टीपल सीट्स पर कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी. मतलब आप पूरी यूपी को एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी मान के चल रहे हो, मल्टीपल सीट्स आर देयर. अब नाउ लेट्स ट्रांसपोर्ट दिस कंसेप्ट टू द इलेक्शन ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया. व्हाट इज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सेइंग? द इलेक्शन ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया शैल टेक प्लेस बाय अ सिस्टम ऑफ प्रोपोर्शनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन. मतलब कि अगर 4 कैंडिडेट कंटेस्ट कर रहे हैं, एक को 20% वोट मिले, एक को 30% मिले, एक को 40% मिले, एक को 10% मिले, the seat will be divided of the president in proportion. 40% एक आदमी रखेगा, 30% एक आदमी रखेगा, 20% एक आदमी रखेगा. Does this make any sense? No. But still we are calling it as proportional representation system. Proportional representation system makes no sense in a single member constituency or in a single seat election. But still we have mentioned proportional representation in the constitution. Why? See, the reason for that is when the constitution makers were writing the constitution, there were only 2 broad systems of elections across the world. आज भी अगर आप देखेंगे तो broadly यही 2 सिस्टम है, proportional और first past the post. In some countries there is a mixture of 2 as well. In Germany, for example, half the seats in their Bundestag are filled by the proportional representation system and half the seats are filled by the proportional by the first past the post system. But system 2 broadly यही है. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेकर्स ने इंडिया के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में प्रेसिडेंट के इलेक्शन के लिए लिख दिया प्रोपोर्शनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन सिस्टम, टू कन्वे दैट द सिस्टम इज नॉट फर्स्ट पास द पोस्ट सिस्टम. अगर देखिए वो फर्स्ट पास, दो चीजें थी ना, या तो वो क्या लिखते हैं दैट द सिस्टम इज नॉट फर्स्ट पास द पोस्ट सिस्टम, और द अदर वे टू राइट इट इज दैट द सिस्टम इज proportional representation system. But in reality, the system is not proportional representation system also. Do you get what I am trying to say? Because in case of the President of India, the election takes place only to one seat. In proportional representation, there have to be multiple seats so that the seats can be divided in proportion to the votes that you have secured. In case of the election of President of India, there is only one president. So, having proportional representation system makes no sense. But the reason why the constitution makers have mentioned the term proportional representation in case of the election of the President of India is because the President of India, the election is definitely not first past the post system. That is what the constitution makers are trying to convey. अब ये दूसरा सिस्टम क्या है? The system of the election of the President of India is actually an alternate voting system. Neither it is a first past the post nor it is proportional representation. ये altogether different ही system है. But because the constitution makers wanted to convey through the constitution that this is not a first past the post system, they have written it's a proportional representation system. If you want to get elected to the office of the President of India, then you need to get at least 50% of the total value of the votes polled. अब process होता क्या है वो एक बार देख लीजिएगा. बहुत ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड प्रोसेस नहीं है. वैल्यू ऑफ द वोट्स एक्सेट्रा आई विल डिस्कस विद यू टुमारो, बट लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द प्रोसेस फॉर द इलेक्शन ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया. सो लेट्स से 4 कैंडिडेट्स वर कंटेस्टिंग द ऑफिस टू द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया. ये चारों को परसेंटेज ऑफ वोट्स मिले, जो टोटल वोट्स पोल हुए. ए को मिले 40% वोट्स, बी को मिले 20% वोट्स, सी को मिले 10% वोट्स, डी को मिले 30%. बट the Constitution of India, the process of election of the president says that to be elected as the president, a candidate must get 50% plus of total value of votes polled. तो अगर 100 वोट पड़े हैं तो 51% या 50% से ज्यादा टोटल वैल्यू ऑफ वोट्स पोल्ड मिलने चाहिए, पर यहां पे तो किसी भी कैंडिडेट को नहीं मिले. सो देन व्हाट विल हैपन? इन दिस केस द बैलेट पेपर फॉर द इलेक्शन ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज स्लाइटली डिफरेंट. द बैलेट पेपर फॉर द इलेक्शन ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज लाइक दिस. हियर The ballot paper will look like this, A, B, C, D. Normal ballot paper क्या होता है कि A के सामने टिक लगाना है, A के सामने लगाओ, B के सामने लगाना है, B के सामने, C के सामने लगाना है, C के सामने, जो भी है ना, that is normal ballot paper. Here the ballot paper will be something like this. You will have multiple votes. See, I'll explain this process again tomorrow, है ना. My idea was just to introduce you to this so that तुम थोड़ा पढ़ के आओ खुद से. अब क्या होगा, सपोज कीजिए एक बैलेट पेपर है, आपके सामने ये बैलेट पेपर आया. आपको क्या करना है? You need to express your preferences in this election. Here you are not supposed to just simply vote for A, B, C, D. You are supposed to express your preferences. So what will happen is that you will be asked that, okay, who is your first preference? Let us say that on my ballot paper, I mark that my first preference is A, my second preference is B, my third preference is D, my third preference is D, and my fourth preference is C. ठीक है? Similarly, let us say there is one more ballot paper. एक और ballot paper देख लेते हैं. Right? A, B, C, D. इस वाले बैलेट पेपर के अंदर A is again, let's say A is again the first preference here, B is the third preference here, C is the second preference here, 1, 2, 3, 4. ठीक है? C is the second preference here and D is the fourth preference here. पहला क्या होगा इस इलेक्शन में, सब लोगों को ऐसा बैलेट पेपर मिलेगा, सब लोगों ने अपना वोट डाल दिया. Now what will be done is, in first round of counting, we will only see this column for all the ballot papers. And the total number of votes polled for every candidate will be counted for the first preference. Here let us say that after counting the first preference votes, this is the outcome. A has got 40, let's say. A has got 40, B has got 20, C has got 10, D has got 30. No one has been able to secure more than 50% of the votes. अब क्या होगा, क्योंकि किसी के पास 50% ऑफ वोट्स नहीं है, जिस कैंडिडेट के मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस वोट्स हैं उसको एलिमिनेट कर दिया जाएगा. बट इससे फायदा क्या होगा? नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन इज, वी विल गो टू द बैलेट पेपर वेयर फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस वाज सी. In first round of counting, what will be done? You will count only the first preferences of all the ballot papers and see if any candidate is able to get more than 50% of the total votes. If you get 50% of the total first preference votes, you will be declared as candidate. If not, second round of counting will take place on the basis of the second preference. Now what will happen is, जो candidate eliminate हुआ है उसके जो भी सारे फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस वाले बैलेट पेपर थे उनको निकाला जाएगा. एंड लेट अस से दैट इफ दी, लेट्स से देयर वर दो बैलेट पेपर समझते हैं ऐसे, वेयर सी वाज फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस. दिस इज वन एंड लेट्स से दिस इज वन. ठीक है, इन दिस in this A, B, C, D, C was first preference but the second preference was B, and in this C was first preference but the second preference was A. Let's say this vote will be transferred to the account of B and this vote will be transferred to the account of A. क्यों? क्योंकि मैं ये देखूंगा कि भाई सेकंड प्रेफरेंस कौन है मेरी. क्योंकि आपसे पूछा जाएगा भाई तुम्हारी फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस कौन है, आप बोलोगे सी, वो बोलेगा नहीं सी तो इलेक्ट नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि उसके मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ वोट्स है, वो एलिमिनेट हो चुका है. अब तुम सेकंड प्रेफरेंस बताओ अपनी. यू विल से माय सेकंड प्रेफरेंस इज बी. हियर यू विल से माय सेकंड प्रेफरेंस इज ए. दिस वोट विल गेट ट्रांसफर्ड टू ए, दिस वोट विल गेट ट्रांसफर्ड टू बी. ऐसे ही सारे जो भी 10 वोट्स होंगे सी के, they will be divided between different candidates. Let us say that these 10 votes get divided and 5 of them go to A and 5 of them go to B. Still no candidate is having 50% more. 51 votes किसी के पास भी नहीं है. So now what will happen is, third round of counting will happen. Again the candidate with the minimum number of votes will be B, will be eliminated now. ठीक है, and then what you will do is that you will again count the second preference votes and then you will go into checking that who are the candidates who were given the second preference votes here till the time you end up with any candidate with more than 50% votes. This is the broad process for the election of the president of India. अब देखिए एक और चीज, यहां पे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन क्या कह रहा है, that the election of the president of India should take place as per proportional representation. Proportional representation तो नहीं है because there is only one seat of the president of India that cannot be divided as per the proportion of the votes that you have got. The idea is to convey that it is not a first past the post system. Second is, it is not a single transferable vote as well. Why? Because your vote has been transferred multiple number of times, right? So the point which we need to keep in mind is that this entire term which has been used in the case of the President of India's election is a misnomer. The system is actually an alternate voting system at the best and not a proportional representation with a single transferable vote. This is broadly what we need to understand. ठीक है. Now I have told you the electoral college of the president and the vice president. I have told you the broad process for the election of the president. Same process is used for the election of the vice president as well. What I recommend to you is that before you come tomorrow, है ना, just ensure that you read up about it from your textbook. When you will come tomorrow, first, अभी मैंने क्या है, मैंने बहुत ऊपर से समझाया चीज. Tomorrow when we will meet, I will discuss with you in detail, first and foremost, this entire process which we discussed, है ना, ये जो हमने एंटायर प्रोसेस अभी डिस्कस किया इसको प्रॉपर तरीके से समझेंगे हम. एंड सेकेंडली व्हाट वी विल आल्सो डू इज वी विल आल्सो अंडरस्टैंड हाउ द वैल्यूज आर असाइंड टू द वोट्स ऑफ द एमपीज एंड द एमएलए. सबके वोट की वैल्यू सेम नहीं होती है इन द इलेक्शंस ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया. देयर इज अ डिफरेंस इन द वैल्यू ऑफ द वोट्स ऑफ एमपीज and the value of the votes of the MLAs across the states. How does that vary? Why are we doing that? All those things I will discuss with you tomorrow. So what you need to do is that you just go through either your textbook, Lakshmikant, DD Basu, whatever, okay? Or you go through your value added material on the process of the election of the President of India. Then I will explain to you this entire process in detail. I just wanted to give you a broad idea. अगर अभी किसी को कोई confusion है, अगर अभी किसी को कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट दिस एंटायर प्रोसेस इन डिटेल टुमारो. ओके, एनी क्वेश्चन स्टिल हियर? हाँ जी बोलिए. हाँ गाइज 1 मिनट, हाँ 2 मिनट. He's saying that, sir, why did the constitution makers not go for the first past the post system for the election of the president of India? क्या problem थी? The reason for that was we wanted that when the election is taking place to such an important position, then we should not allow any person to hold that position unless he is approved by more than 50% of the total voters or total value of the votes, those who are participating in the election. That was the only reason. That is why we did not have the first past the post system. But proportional representation भी possible नहीं है, so we went for an alternate voting system. ठीक है? Yes, other questions? Any other doubts? पूछिएगा और कुछ है तो. हाँ जी बोलो. क्या चीज? सर डिपेंड करता है, डिपेंड करता है. यू नो यू विल हैव टू स्पेसिफिकली. देखिए मैं नहीं बता सकता हूं कि कौन सी पोस्ट ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट में आती है नहीं आती है. सर नो पोजीशन कैन बी टोल्ड बाय यू एंड मी जस्ट लाइक दैट वेदर इट इज ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट और नॉट. देयर आर प्रिंसिपल्स दैट आर सपोज टू बी अप्लाइड which have been laid down by the court, and then the election commission decides whether it will be called as an office of profit or not, है ना. So if some person is holding, अब आप कह रहे हैं कि सर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट या प्रेसिडेंट या किसी ने भी या गवर्नर जो है बहुत सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज के अंदर वाइस चांसलर की पोजीशन होल्ड करते हैं, कैन दैट बी कॉल्ड एज अ ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट? मे बी और मे बी नॉट. वो आपको कोर्ट में केस फाइल करके पता चलेगा सर. क्यों? क्योंकि एज ऑफ नाउ द पोजीशन इज इफ दे आर होल्डिंग, there is no such opinion which has been expressed, but you may file a case in the court and then only the court would be able to define that. क्योंकि ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट की कोई डेफिनेशन है नहीं सर, ना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में ना किसी लॉ में. तो अल्टीमेटली ऑल ऑफ दिस इज इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द कोर्ट्स इन इंडिया. ठीक है, हाँ जी बोलो. हाँ 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 मैंने आपको कल बताया तो था. रिमूवल प्रोसेस ऑफ द जजेस, हाई कोर्ट जजेस आप जैसे कहते हैं, उसी तरीके से यू कैन से इवन द रिमूवल प्रोसीडिंग्स ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ चेक एंड बैलेंस ओनली, बिकॉज ही इज द हेड ऑफ द एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड ही कैन बी रिमूव्ड बाय द लेजिस्लेचर. सो यस, इट्स एन एग्जांपल ऑफ चेक एंड बैलेंस. दैट इज फाइन, दैट इज फाइन, बट अल्टीमेटली ही इज द हेड ऑफ द एग्जीक्यूटिव. Even if the nominal head, he is the head of the executive. So you can call it as a system of checks and balance. ठीक है? Any other questions? हाँ. No, impeachment process of the President of United States of America is slightly different here. In case of the American president, we will discuss it in the later classes when I will compare the Indian constitution with that of the other countries. ठीक है, और पूछिए, any other questions? All clear? Please ensure that जब आप कल आए तो पढ़ के आइएगा इलेक्शन ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया के बारे में. We will discuss this process in detail. Okay, thank you so much.